Okay, this one's gonna be quite long because I am doing something that was quite new to me in terms of like professionally. Well, at least I'm trying to do it professionally. So siliconing. So you saw me do it at the previous episode, but this time I need to fix my mistakes. So starting off with isopropyl alcohol, cleaning the area up, make sure there's no dirt, no debris. And I'm putting a bunch of silicone on the lines, this time not wasting any time for it to cure and just putting loads up. Not gonna give any time for it to cure and just not trying to save any silicone, just wiping it across and just leaving the excess on the kitchen roll. I know I'm gonna waste quite a bit of material that way, but at least this way I won't give the silicone time for it to start curing, so I can just wipe it right off. So I got this area to fill in. I'm gonna clean it up with IPA first, and then I'm gonna go on top of this because this did not go very well yesterday. The toilet now is perfect, and this side could be neater, but this onwards and this wall I think is fine, it's perfect. Just leaving it as it is. Okay, so clean it up again, isopropyl alcohol, both on the bath panel, and ignore that little area that I'm shoving the loads of silicone. I am gonna clear it up. I know it looks like a disgrace, but just ignore it. So just filling this area in with more silicone, and I'm gonna paint on top of the door frame, and that will be problematic because I got silicone. You can't really paint on top of silicone like I thought. Well, you can if you put like 20 layers on, but it's not ideal solution. So paint should be done first before silicone. And now a bunch of silicone on the bath panel. And I'm just going to do a nice clean line instead of going over and over trying to save material, saving silicone. That clearly didn't work last time, so just a single line. I'm still doing it like 10 times, but I'm working much quicker this time, so it did look great. There's a little hair there. Okay, yeah, so that didn't ruin it, so I'm not going to redo it because I know I will frick it up. I'm going to ignore that part for now because that part is going to be hidden away anyway. But like, actually, let's use the hot air there, glue gun, glue stick, just to make sure at least it's pushing into the corners. So at least it can do that, at least it serves a purpose. Apparently from our research, you can silicone on top. So my friend did this. He's an amazing craftsman. I'm joking. Chris, I love you, really. I think we used a bad cork. Maybe it was out of date. Not cork, silicone. And it was just tearing, smearing, and it wasn't doing a good job. So I do not want to peel this off because it would make me do a lot of work. So instead, I'm just going to clean it up using clean IPA. Brush, make sure I get the brush in the deep debris, and just silicone on top with a 10mm. So let's clean it first. Okay, so now we are sped up around 8,000 speed. I think not this clip, but the next clip onwards when I start siliconing the bathtub, because it was a nightmare. I thought I had time to actually silicone this whole bathtub, and I thought I was going to have a breeze, but it turns out it was not a breeze. Actually, I think it's because I actually went with an insane 16mm bevel, and that just would not do a nice clean line. So I just went back and forth. I wasted so much silicone, and then I had someone knocking on my door, and I didn't really want to answer the door because I got my hands and gloves with silicone, and I was rushing because I needed to go out and meet someone. This was a nightmare, but in the end it did look good, but the process was not fun at all. You can see I'm just going back and forth in the same area. Oh, it was such a nightmare. And I know it's a bit dirty, the mirror, but I cleaned it up after it was done. And now onto the good side, that was actually much easier. This was a breeze compared to the mirror side. But yeah, I am speeding up a lot because I do not want to make you guys watch this. The whole original clip took me like an hour non-stop. I done a one shot, 1 hour for a few lines. It was a nightmare. But yeah, you get to watch it at 8,000 speed without any of the headaches that I received from it. Okay, that looks a bit better. The lines look good. Don't ignore the mess. I'll do clean it up. Remember, I don't count myself like a professional fucking caulker or siliconer or whatever you want to call it. I'd say I'm a big amateur. But yeah, this is the lines that I was really worrying about, the bathtub. But they clean up on the sides where above the silicone. So yeah, now onto a panel under the sink. And you can see there's a massive gap, but filling it in is no problem. This was actually quite a breeze compared to the bathtub. God, I think doing like 16mm bevels is just a no good idea. I think like 16mm bevel that actually is for cleaning areas up rather than actually using it as a profile. And the edge of this panel actually gets covered by the cistern. So I know you can see it looks quite a bit of a mess at the bottom left corner, but that has to get cleaned up. So I'm just doing a check to make sure there's no leaks, and turns out there is a leak there. So all these pipes are fine except here, and that is because of the cistern. Now this has been meaning to be replaced for a while because it's got obviously a crack there. So this is gonna have to go. But that's no problem, that's around a 50 quid thing. And it's better than me trying to repair it because it got cracked there, on the back now as well. It's leaking from the back. You can see those loads of Fernox there, so there's no point of trying to fix that. Instead, I'm just going to buy a new cistern, I think. So just testing all overflow to make sure there's no leaks before I close it up, because I want to close this up. So it turns out there was a leak, and I just decided to actually replace the whole thing. Not replace it, actually just redo the job, because it looked like a right mess actually in terms of sealing it. But even after I did this, actually, there was still quite a major leak, and I believe this was mostly because of the bathtub itself. You can see that there's got a very odd texture. I think, what would you call it? It's some type of spray. I don't know. I don't remember the name of it. Fiberglass, maybe? I think it's fiberglass. So I think because of the texture of the fiberglass, I couldn't get a tight seal from the bottom of these pieces to the top, to the bottom of the bathtub. So this is why I wanted to use loads of, not loads, a Fernox sealant on every area that contacts each other, because I do not want to go back and forth with this. And this was actually a really weird way of how I found to screw in the new plug. I used a wrench, I think. So let's have a review. I just redone that completely. New fittings. Each single piece is protected with external leak sealer. Oh my god, I'm sweating so much, but yeah, that should be solid now. Brand new. As I was putting in the side panel, this actually snapped off, which is actually fine, because if it didn't snap off, the panel wouldn't have gone in, but once it goes in, it's completely hidden. So it is literally to the max, so it's overflowing right now, and not a single drip or leak, so that is good. So let's open up the... Oh, fuck's sake, man. Coming from the top. So actually filming this was a really good aid for me in figuring out where the leak was coming from. And this is, as I mentioned before, I think it's from the fiberglass bathtub, the bottom of it where the actual plug goes. I think since it's such a weird texture and bumpy area, the rubber, rubber O-ring couldn't get a tight seal. So what I'm doing now is I'm using a heat gun hairdryer just to make sure it's really bone dry, so then I could apply the Fernox sealant, because it's pointless me just removing it all and trying to repeat the process. I'm going to keep testing this until there's 0 drips or leaks at the bottom. So I'm filling up to the top, then I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to see if the overflow drains to below the overflow, just to check that at least is working. Okay, so now it's over the water flow. So let's see. And there's 0 drips. So I'm just gonna leave this to see if it goes below the overflow. Okay, so I just opened it up and let's see if there's gonna be any dripping, which there isn't so far. So I'm going to let it all drain and hopefully there won't be any drips. Okay, finally that we finished with the sealing, I'm gonna actually cover up the old 2 tiles, and that is where the electrical on and off switches were for the power shower and the lights. And since I moved it to the hallway, I can actually cover them up. So I bought these 2 pieces from eBay as I didn't have any spare tiles, but I think I might have to get some more, because when I redo the bathroom, the kitchen, I might need to do some more of them. But yeah, cleaning it up nicely, making sure the spaces are even. And my hair, oh my god, ignore the hair. They're oiled up right now before I shake them off. And now finally filling in, putting on the bathtub panel, the main panel, not the bottom one, the middle one. As there's no leaks anymore, we can finally move on. It was a bit of a nightmare, but got there in the end. So I am making good progress. This is all done. 0 leaks on the bath side, 0 leaks on the sink side. The toilet, the cistern obviously was leaking and it was just in a beat up shape, so I bought a new one and I'm gonna wait for the new one to arrive, and then I'm gonna enclose it. And I'm gonna use hardwood, same type that the toilet seat is, and I'm gonna repaint the toilet seat. I'm not gonna paint it actually, I'm gonna dye it with black wood dye. And I'm going to do the same thing from the cistern enclosure. But yeah, the floor is looking incredible. The silicone sealant looks incredible. And even on the bathtub side actually, I just did this, the toilet, and look at the plumbing on the toilet side. It is so much better now. So nice and tidy here. I even got labels on which pipe is which. I mean, I know it's not a big deal, but it's still nice. Yeah, look at that. The silicone. Actually, it does look much better. I haven't cleaned everything thoroughly yet, but the silicone feels good. And I still need to clean this. This is a fucking mess. And I think I'm gonna seal this as well with silicone, and I'm gonna redo the silicone here. I'm not sure if I want to go on top of the silicone, but yeah, this needs to be addressed as well.